Welcome back to Zona Restorations. And I just ate an apple. This is my gorgeous silver 5 Series. And we're gonna do some maintenance to her. I've been putting her on the back burner because I wanted to get the 8 Series going for the winter, but it seems that we are still waiting on parts. That's why I don't have a video out for that. So, we're gonna work on this thing. So this is probably the last place that we're gonna end up. These are 2 controllers for the rear suspension. I've been wanting to do them for a while, but just haven't bought them yet. So here they are. We've got an oil filter, oil change is gonna happen, spark plugs. I don't know the last time they were done, so it's always nice, especially when doing this amount of service, to put some brand new ones in there. The main job here though is a Vanos and upper timing chain rebuild. The car is really clean, and it just, over 20 years, these things are starting to chug, and I think that this is gonna solve the issue. I'm not gonna do the lower guide and lower chain yet, probably in the future, but I'm doing this on a weekend, and I haven't taken one of these motors apart like this before. I wanna be confident, take my time, and I have other stuff to do on the car. Don't want to make this a huge project, but I'm replacing a lot of things that it's gonna need. I think this is gonna solve the issue, but we'll see. So these are 2 Vanos cogs that we're gonna be putting on. I got them off of a guy in Andover, Mass. It's really good that he has a price at $400 instead of like $800, which Dr. Vanos does, and they're a lot cheaper than everywhere else, and I get to get a $100 core for them. So that's nice. We got these distribution pieces. We have the upper chains, timing, case covers, the uppers. Then we have the guides. There's these small little guides that the chains run off of. Valve cover, gaskets. I already did those, but I did them maybe like 500 miles ago because they were leaking. But it turned out that I was gonna do this whole job waiting for the 8 Series, so I'm gonna put the money from the 8 Series towards this car, which I drive every single day. And I wanna get the thing after the winter to get the rust kind of figured out. So this car is gonna be pretty mint. We have gaskets for, I believe it's behind here, just distribution pieces, solenoid gaskets, gaskets for the cam sensors, some rings. This is leaking, it's on top of the radiator. Thermostat's bad. This also temperature sensor, kind of thermostat thingy, is also leaking, and this hose is leaking. All these things that are part of the coolant system just happened like over the past couple weeks. And then dry belts, just want to do them because just in case if anything gets on them, I want to have them. So that's what we're doing here. The glorious M62. Oh gosh, depending on who you ask, either love it or hate it. As a mechanic, I love it and I hate it. Nah, just kidding. I like this motor. It's pretty quiet, it's pretty smooth, but after 20 years, we gotta do some maintenance to her. These valve covers, I'm gonna be painting them. I think the goal for tonight is to get them prepped. I bought a sandblasting thing, pressurizer, so we'll see how that works. I got primer and paint. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get this going. This is I've only done a couple of things on this car since I bought it. The previous owner had it for I think like 16 years, and he's a really good guy. And he was trying to sell the car, I guess, for a while, and I got it. So it's pretty clean, but I haven't done much on this thing for about a year since I bought it. My goal is to either sell this thing or just get it so nice that I won't want to sell it. But the 8 Series, sadly, I don't think it's going to be on the road for a while because I'm waiting on parts, and it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. We're going to need this timing set, that's for sure. It's got all the components that we're going to need. Got some instructions too. This is the blaster I bought last night. We'll see if it works or not. I'm not sure. Need I mention the summer tires that I put on last night? This is the spare for the car, so I needed to get that done because I actually had a hole in my tire and put this spare on, and the spare was 20 years old. So I did not want to screw with that any longer. Just put a new tire on it. You know, after your tires get so old, you don't trust them very much. So these are going to be the summer wheels. They were different before, but those wheels are now on my 8 Series, and I'll show you guys that later on. But it's nighttime, so I can't really show you. We have the winter BBSs on. And the car is clearly a little caked. But that's okay. We'll wash her at some point. Now I know there's some audio issues, and I'm aware of it. I'm just using my cell phone. I'll invest in it soon. When the next 8 Series video comes, that will happen. I don't know when that's coming though. Could be in a month, could be in 2 months, could be in 3. I don't know when the part's gonna come in. It's been out for 2 months that I've been waiting, so I can't do anything else on the car. It wouldn't make sense for me to. I need to make sure it drives. And the crazy thing is, I now have over 300 subscribers. That's crazy. I only have 3 videos. Like, you guys have had some incredible support, and I want to create some good content. I think the direction that I want to take this channel in is repairs, but especially when I get the E31 done, I want it to also be about just having fun with the car and life of like dailying that car, because a lot of people garage those cars and don't drive them in the winter and stuff, but I want to enjoy the 90s millionaire life, you know? I love 8 Series, and I want to drive that thing, and I want to go to meets, and that's going to be kind of the direction of this channel. I really like the cars though, but I do have to invest my money in it, so it's as much as I can afford is how many videos are going to come out. So let's get diving in, shall we? Yeah, compressor comes on, of course. So covers coming off, plastic, BS, all these wires, that's coming off. I'm not doing anything on the intake, so that's staying on. Getting almost everything out of the front. Get the timing case covers off. Get these prepped, and that'll be tonight, I believe. Bank 1 and 2 covers, ignition coils, and wires are off. Gonna do all the spark plugs now because why not? Clearly my valve covers did seal properly because there's no oil in there. That's pretty nice to know. And in with the new. Make sure you leave your battery connected. I never remember where these go, so I gotta label them. Hopefully when I get my wireless mic, it'll turn down the intensity of that compressor. That thing is so loud when it kicks on. And it kicks on a whole lot. All this stuff is just flying by. I think I jinxed myself. Bernard just said that I came across a connector that's real tight. It's not coming off. Now at this point, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to call in the real mechanics. I don't know, maybe I'll just put it back together. I've been wondering for the longest time, what is this right here? People say I need to do something to this every 2,000 miles or something. I can't seem to figure it out. I don't have any sockets that go that big. Looks like something bolts here. I'm really having a tough time with this project. I can't wait. I love doing this. These. Oh, they're gonna look so good. They're all flaky right now. I'm no painter, I can tell you that, but I'm so psyched. Vacuuming all the debris from all the paint flaking. Should come right off. Oh, and there goes the battery. So, yep. Right off. Oh, it's glorious. Glorious. So here we have bank 1. It's so clean under here. So here's bank 2. So yummy. That was my goal for the car. Now let's finish for the covers. I have new gaskets, which is good, but this is so flaky, it's probably gonna be pretty easy to clean off. They're in really poor condition. I think on the inside they flake off too. So I'm just gonna blast the entire thing. But first, we have to make it. What we got? There's freaking sand everywhere. The E39 is in pretty good condition. So in reality, though we haven't done much, it'll probably be our first completed restoration. Oh my gosh. The A series on the other hand might take a few years. I tried blasting and I'm not very good at it, I guess, and in the dark and in the cold. And I'm just gonna try this first. Put some stripper on these bad boys because I'll blast them probably if this doesn't work, but I'm not having the greatest of luck with it, so I'm just giving myself a break. So this is it with the first thing of stripper off. We got a lot down to bare metal, but a lot of it still has either residue or needs to be stripped a little bit more. But it did such a good job. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray this one back with stripper, get the other one, take all the stripper off, and then basically kind of repeat the process. Apart from the mess, I mean, in reality, this is so good. Like, this is kind of like a finish by itself if I just stripped it down fully. But I'm not going to. I'm going to be painting it, but like, damn. So this is one of the finished pieces. I think I could have done better, of course. My first time doing something like this. I didn't even think about like sanding this down, like a little bit of the corroded areas. But I mean, overall, it's much better. And it'll look pretty nice in there. On the interim of paint drying last night, I took out cam sensors, started taking off the solenoid gaskets, which are siliconed in there, so I'm kind of screwed. I took one off, took the thermostat out, hoses, kind of a couple miscellaneous things to get ready to get this thing to top dead center, take out the tensioner and everything else, so get on to it. Oh, damn, that was really tight. Oily. That one was much easier. We have a shortened one here at the shop because the sway bar gets in the way. It looks like that's in. This is the one that comes in the kit. The one that we have is probably that short because getting them in is very difficult. This amount of length to it. Got the cams crank locked in and on bank 2 too. Got the tensioner out, so this chain is loose. Loosening up all these bolts. Someone laid a fat freaking strip of silicone on this. Clearly it didn't help because it's still leaking a little bit. That really is gonna suck to clean. This is as far as I've ever been on one of these cars because I've replaced the gaskets before, but I've never like done any of this chain work before, so. It even says left-hand thread on it. That's cool. Supposedly, it's got a lot of torque on it. Yeah, that is a lot of torque. Oh yeah. You can get it though with a half-incher. Alright, cool. You definitely have to hold that. There's no way without some serious grippage you're gonna get that on. It's a pretty unique bolt. That's pretty tight. For what I've been able to see, this chain shouldn't be able to fall off the crank unless that tensioner is off, or that guide, sorry, is off, causing tension, basically. So, I think we'll be fine. I'm still gonna double check it, of course. There's a lot of oil involved in this job. Gets everywhere. Alright, this should be just a little O-ring. Yep. There's some very, very light scoring, so that's pretty good. Don't even have to replace these, but I do have them, so I'm going to replace them. The new Vanos units are on, well, the rebuilt ones. We have new chain for the secondary, we have a new tensioner for the secondary, and we have the distribution pieces with new seals on the camshaft. So this is actually way easier than I thought. You just have to take your time, you have to run the chain through, make sure it doesn't like fall in, I guess. And then we have this tensioner, which is going to go against the lower chain, so we can torque them and we can see how it feels. My goal was to have everything timed before lunch. Took out the pin on the bottom, took out the blocks. You can't see it, but it's 12. It's basically perfect timing. Double entendre. I ran it through. Everything seems to be good. Now we're gonna take the tensioner off, clean everything, put the covers on, valve covers on, everything else. It's 9 degrees Fahrenheit out here, so I'm gonna make this quick, but before I go, and before the sun sets, because it's already setting, show you how the 8's doing. She's okay. Sitting around though, that's for sure. It looks so good with these wheels. Like basically brand new Michelin's on them. They're staggered, so they look really nice. This thing sits so well. If you can tell, shifter has changed, as along with, it's locked right now, but you can't tell, but the pedals are switched. It's basically a standard, but my drive shaft is on hold, so I don't know if it's actually any good right now, but it's out here. Look at it every single day, pretty much. So the back hose on the heater valve is leaking down. That runs all the way across the engine here. M62 ain't bad to work on, I'll say that. Everything's built pretty robustly. As I say that. Clean this little tubey thing up a little bit. All the accessories and the timing case covers. I replaced this little piece under here too. That was leaking out. It's kind of annoying to pop off. It kind of explodes itself apart. Those valve covers look so nice. Really matches the car. I forgot about the little seals that wrap around here, so I'm gonna install those now. After doing everything, this is about 30 seconds to a minute of running. We're perfectly still. See if any errors come, but this runs a lot better. Sorry I didn't get the start up, but I think it's fixed. No faults. It's been running for probably like 5 or so minutes. I think I'm gonna put it together and probably test drive it. So I drove the car for about 5 days. It's doing great. It sounds a lot quieter. It's just running perfectly. So, I'm gonna do the oil change now and the rear ladder opens. Right here. It's a pretty nice color. This right here, these always go bad on these. It's all worn out. This is gonna be the first piece of suspension that I've replaced on this car since I bought it. Most of the work has just been engine and cooling and oil changes and tires actually. Wow, that is such an easy arm to replace. There's no tension on it. Brand new one. Even says right side. A little bit of anti-seize for that bad boy. All this stuff around here is undercoating to protect these shocks from rusting that I did last year. That's one control arm done. My shift knob here has collapidated itself, as you can see, over the cold. It's probably the first time this is getting replaced, but my Uncle Tony gave me a new one. He had it many years ago, so we're gonna see what's behind here. It almost looks out of place because of how good it looks. On camera, it doesn't do it justice, but it's nice and fresh in here now. Well, that's all for the E39 540i's winter service. Got a lot done on the car. It runs very smooth now, has no leaks, apart from that small power steering leak, but that will probably be for the spring when I do rust repair and when I put on the new wheels. I'll probably doing an alignment there too, detail the whole car, make it real pretty for the next 3 months until it becomes winter again where it gets all disgusting. That's alright. And that's when we work on the car, is in the winter and when it breaks. But now I have confidence in driving this thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, subscribe, like, and I'll figure out more content because this car is pretty much perfect now. And the 8 Series, I have no idea.